for LNG. Just if you don't give them such a massive draft advantage, you can be in a comfortable position. So,
hey, they got Renekton. That's a priority. Well, okay. Now,
yeah, I wonder what we're going to see here. Well, I think there's no reason for RNG to change things up, but this does allow LNG to change up the draft from this point when it comes to bans. Yeah, this is exactly the same. I think you have to get rid of Lucian, right? If you let them run it back in this manner, the game's over. It really felt like a rough position to be put in, so they will ban that away. That was one problem. Now, the question for me is, you know, what else are you going to do to sort of navigate things a bit better? Because the Syndra matchup's difficult. It's going to have prio. The Ziggs bot lane matchup is going to be difficult because early you don't have prio against the Ezreal. My question is, what are LNG going to do to try and have a bit more agency in this game? They need a lane to play through. They're going to go for the Ryze again. They don't think that was the problem. Okay. I'm not so sure.
Well, at least we're not going to see a Lucian top, and we get a Braum and a Mundo. Oh my lord, do I have a stat for our audience here. Trundle comes through as well, so we do have different bottom lane supports and a different top lane pick. I need everyone to listen and listen well. In the regular season, Xiaohu was undefeated on this pick. And I mean undefeated. 4-0 with a 14 KDA. Xiaohu has never lost on this Mundo. And it's something to behold here as we get a hard front line for RNG in Game 4, Aux.
Yeah, it's better for LNG, but standards weren't set too high on that last one. So there's still some things I have issue with. Okay. First and foremost, Renekton has a better matchup, right? Just flat out, the Lucian...
Mark Z's getting called up on the phone to take us into a Game 5. It's now or never for RNG as LNG, in the same vein, have been one away from getting into the top 4, from securing a match and a date with FPX. All it takes is one game here. Everything on the line.
Just takes one game. And again, I think it's a better situation, but there's still concerns. One thing is the fact that should their top side fall behind, again, they are lacking AD on the rest of the map. If Xiaohu can itemize into magic resist like heavily because Renekton's behind, Lee Sin's behind, he will become extremely hard to kill. Even with Lwandy pressing R, it still becomes an issue. But overall, you know, one concern I do have is the lack of engage for RNG compared to what we saw in the last game. Ming was pivotal. You were even saying Ming should be MVP, and honestly, I don't disagree. He had an MVP-worthy performance, and now they don't have him on the route. Braum, a lot less useful at finding engage, and particularly against the Trundle, I think it's very easy for LNG just to play max range in this one, right? You throw bombs out, if anyone tries to approach, you throw a pillar out, disengage, 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 and it's going to cause issues for RNG in that regard.
I think it's important then that we highlight where junglers are going if we want to see a safer laning phase for Light, if Light gets to that point in the game. But you're right, you know, play through range using the fact that RNG don't have much engage is a really important point. I will talk about that more as we get in transition, because in this time around, you already talked about mid lane having priority. Bottom lane's changed up a little bit here. So I wanted to get your thoughts on how RNG play through the laning state, and if it is very different, considering you already pulled up that Mundo versus Renekton is going to make things different even in the top lane.
Yeah, so first off, I think the support matchup in the bot lane makes a pretty big difference, and just from the fact that the Trundle can actually go in a melee range of the Braum and kind of check him, has that bite damage. So as a result, the Rel has a really powerful level 1, Leona very weak, which we saw in game 3. Here, LNG get the prio, bot lane. And then the top lane, we see Arlay in this Renekton into the Mundo. Mundo can farm from range, but Renekton's able to find priority there as well. So the side lanes are going much better. Now, the thing I am confused about is this mid lane. We saw this exact matchup in the last game, and it was Cryin who had priority. But a thing to take away here is Icon's burning all his mana and quite a bit of HP. So this might be the setup for a gank from Wei, right? He's allowing Icon to burn resources, and Tarzan is going to have to float around here and make sure he's covered, because a Xin Zhao gank here in this position is super threatening. I think that's what they're setting up for here by allowing him to push in.
Takes one scout of the week. For now, it's scuttle for scuttle trade from both junglers, though. So we pause on the mid lane play, but it looks like pings are coming down. I'm so glad you pointed this out, Aux, because for Cryin, he needs that scout of the week. Camera focusing on the bottom side right now, but there it is, on top away. Tarzan's pathing away, looking for the double scuttle. Lens there. Icon going to be walking towards River. He'll get bursted out. Here we go with the flash from Icon. He takes the play. Wei wants to follow up. Wind becomes lightning. Will Tarzan get him? Icon's dead for first blood while Cryin dodges the Sonic Wei. RNG on the board.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Wei connecting with the W there. Just the tip catching Icon, allowing him to close the gap. Really well played, and the patience there. They saw Tarzan, they waited him to walk past, and then as soon as Tarzan saw the scuttle, like, oh, it's too late now, it's go time. Icon, if you actually watch his position in the lane, every second of the laning phase, he was like, I'm going to lean towards my jungler. My jungler is here, I am safe. And that's what baited him into this false sense of security, and this is very typical of Wei. He will spend a long time waiting in the brush just for that payoff, and it definitely did pay off in that regard. And remember, this Ryze has that roaming potential, but if you can shut him down early, he's never really able to leave lane. And without flash, he's always going to be in a vulnerable spot.
It's been RNG's game plan. Focus down this mid laner and put Icon in a position where he's not relevant at all. Now, speaking of, look at the roam from Ming. This is what we talked about, as Cryin's going to get locked down, but there's a Braum here at level 3. Stand behind me with the door up. Scatter the Weak at the ready. The Winter's Bite sets up for the concussive blows. The magic damage from Ming is great. Onto Tarzan, he flashes away. Ming is a god, and this roam almost kills the enemy jungle.
Cryin as well predicted this safeguard with his Q, and Tarzan was forced to flash actually to dodge it in the end. Really great roam time in there from Ming. The critical thing was that Cryin was trying to push the wave in, right? The wave was pushing away. He needed to step up in the lane, but because the support comes, they're able to fight that off. And not only that, they burn the flash from Tarzan as well. This mid-jungle 2v2 is going really well, and it's not just off the back of those two players. It's Ming also pairing up. And we talked a lot about Lwandy being this big roaming threat. I think so far this series, Ming's had the advantage in terms of roams.
Yeah, I think Ming has been out of lane more. Lwandy has been trying to match him. We've still seen a Trundle / support in general that has tried to link up with Tarzan, but too late in that play. It's almost another kill for RNG. Note in this early game, RNG trying to pivot towards mid constantly. I mean, this is just schoolyard bullying where Icon with no flash is getting punished over and over, and RNG are not leaving Cryin alone to his own lane.
No, it looks like it could potentially be a 3v3 setup. I think they're just trying to give support to Icon. Even though Cryin's low on mana, you have to be so careful because of that ultimate being available. But now, they're going for the scuttle, and I think they're toying with the potential to punish this one.
They are, but they don't know that there's 4 there. There's going to be 4 versus 3. Dominus already picked up teleport a little bit late. RNG have walked into this trap, and onto Lwandy, they don't even find the Trundle. Ming left out, flashes over the wall as Xiaohu is here for the business meeting, but stocks have fallen, and RNG have walked into a trap.
Really nice bait there, and the critical thing again is that Cryin was super low on mana, didn't even get to press his ultimate. Wei dives in, but isn't able to follow through, doesn't have that ult to split up the fight. And LNG, things are looking a little bit rough for them, but they managed to answer back.
Well, kills going over to the top jungle. Very different position from what we saw in Game 3, Orcs. We mentioned there, as my voice breaks like a teen-year-old boy, that the AD damage is where it's coming out here from LNG, and the Renekton and the Lee Sin benefited off this play.
Yeah, and it's actually a really weird TP from Xiaohu, because I don't know if you saw before where he was, but see that control ward in that brush? He was like right next to it. He TP'd. He could have just walked down, in all honesty. The TP didn't really add much value. And I think that's the thing, is that RNG were a little bit disconnected on that play. They weren't paired up with Xiaohu, so Xiaohu TP'd to pair up with him. But at that point, it was already too late, right? You didn't have your 4 members strong. You end up getting punished for it. And as you said, Arley in a better position this game. Tarzan in a better position this game. And if those threats are relevant, they will remain relevant. Right? Gone are the days where Lee Sin and Renekton are champions who fall off a cliff after the early game or the mid game. Now they're in a point where they are so much more relevant on the back of bruiser items. They build their gore drinkers, their Steraks, they become super bulky, do a ton of damage, and they end up being big threats for a substantial part of the game. So very important that they're ahead. Now Tarzan again fishing around mid. And this time we see Lwandy's the one there. Ming nowhere to be seen, but he does have TP from the Summoner Spellbook. Definitely could use that to come in if he needed.
Wei's tracking him. I mean, this is just patient play from the RNG jungler around the Herald. Sonic Wave going to connect, though. Tarzan ready, but the Crescent Guard used from Wei. And there you go. Jungler set packing at half HP. Tarzan resumes priority over the Herald. A great early game from LNG to fight back, and they're looking for more in the enemy jungle.
And the critical problem here is that RNG are trying to play for the Herald, as they are wont to do, but because they end up losing out, they get forced away. LNG will take the Herald, and RNG are very slow to do something on the other side of the map. You can see they're looking at the blue buff that's up, they're looking at the dragon that's up, they're going to settle for the dragon. But this, you know, it's not a great trade just to take that dragon and turn to the Herald, because the Herald has a lot more value in the early stages of the game. So it's RNG trying to do what they normally do, and LNG are able to answer.
Good little trade here from Ale in the top lane while Herald is being multitasked with Tarzan. He wanted the scuttle as well while Dragon is the response. So you're exactly right. And LNG in this position, the ability to enhance topside, keep the Mundo down. Maximum dosage has just been used, and Ale is establishing alpha presence up in this top lane again. And with Dominus onto Xiaohu, he doesn't have his passive up. He's kicked into the wall. Ale and Tarzan once again return.
There's no way you can step up there. And the big thing is, LNG know that RNG on the boss side of the map, right? But what can RNG take, right? They took the blue buff, they took the dragon, but realistically, they didn't have enough time to do any damage to the tower. So now we have this tower in the bot lane, which is plenty far away from being punished. 2 plates are taken top, a kill is taken top, and RNG only really have that dragon to answer for it. So LNG, really favorable situation there.
And it's crazy to me that we get into playoffs, and I already thought Tarzan was playing well, but this old Griffin LCK jungler, who we all thought was a prodigy, and to be fair, he was, and is, has come into the LPL in this debut year and has turned LNG into a potential top 4 team. 2-0 now on this Lee Sin, and Tarzan is the win condition for LNG, as we talked about in the opening segment, and has continued to be the reason why LNG have found success within this series. Setting up Ale here in this game, he set himself up with 2 kills. When Tarzan looks good, the rest of LNG look good. So here again in game number 4, with a 1k gold lead, everything screaming success in the first 15 minutes for Lee Ning.
And you can just see the difference in this game. Ale is able to play. That is one of the fundamental things, not at 4 CS at 4 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it was before. He's in a really strong spot with the Gore Drinker now. Xiaohu is on the back foot and a level down, and that's given this early pressure, and that's a critical thing, because now Light and Icon have space. They can chill, they can do what they want, and they're actually looking to be proactive.
Again,
Gala
they did this in the last game as well. Kicked against the wall. No, he's not. Gala, Arcane shifting away, just trying to survive, but there's no surviving here. Tarzan does it again. Will he survive with the safeguard? The turret shot actually balances to Lwandy, so Tarzan was out of range. He gets his 3rd kill, and RNG have no response.
Yeah, and this is Ziggs with Herald. You don't really need to do much for that to kill. You just Herald, 1 auto pretty much from here, and the Satchel will finish off the tower. It does so much damage. So has that threat available, but they do end up backing off. They don't want to overstep. The Herald is starting to tick out of time, so we expect to see it move used pretty soon. But I just love proactivity from LNG, right? You know, we saw that mid lane matchup be a little bit rough in the early levels in the previous game. We saw them even punished Icon, but he's now in a comfortable spot. He's level 9, his Q is maxed, he has some mana behind him. He's gonna get he's not gonna get blue buff there, sorry, but he's able to shove the waves in and then rotate down to the side lanes, and it means they're applying this pressure. And now they're looking to once again punish Gala, who has no flash available.
Look at Xiaohu's TP as well. There's a bit of a timer here too. Herald's going to be charging down with 4 members of LNG. Ming trying to defend, but Herald charges in. The Satchel charge doesn't hit turret, so that gets time for RNG. Glacial Fissure as well, as the Winter's Bite connects after it. Cryin and Xiaohu still not here. With the first TP reigning true, Wei goes in with the Crescent Guard available. A lot of damage done on LNG, but they're escaping. They're running until wind becomes lightning comes through. Ming puts the door up again, and RNG get another. LNG lucky to get out, as the Satchel charge caused the dominoes to fall.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it just didn't end up connecting. I think what happened is he threw at the turret, and the Braum E blocked it from getting in range of the turret. And so as a result, wasn't able to finish off. So really well played for Ming there to deny that one.
Woo! Wow.
And that one as well.
And that one too, he's burning, but he survives. Wow. Wow, the
really
door
well
timing from
Ming.
Ming. Yep.
Saves himself, saves the tower, and RNG able to answer back a bit. Again, it's not exactly like a massively favorable play. They still lost all those plates from the tower. But considering what could have happened for LNG, RNG definitely managing to reduce the impact, slow things down a bit, and give themselves more of an opportunity.
Well, things go tense. With LNG holding a gold lead, this play could have been so much worse. Now, you mentioned Ming with the door. Let's have a look. You're right.
Yeah, it blocks it.
Great wall from Ming.
Really had to play to use that in that window. And again, it's completely denies, because it should have just been a tower down. They could have kept pushing forwards if they wanted to. They could have disengaged and taken the gold. But instead, they could caught into this fight. We see Wei able to dive forward. Once again, so clutch landing those Ws, able to get the kill, the shutdown onto Tarzan, and make things a little bit more even. Now, Dragon is up, and RNG are in position to take this one. LNG a little bit slow to the punch, so I think this one's just gone.
Realm Warp is available. Let's see if they want to take it. Tarzan moving into position. Lwandy there with a good pillar. On top of Cryin, there's a TP. After the fact, on top of Dragon. I mean, Tarzan now going to find a TP of his own. Realm Warp into the backline, but RNG are grouping up. That's not where you want to be for Ale. Unleashing power. LNG now with a man advantage, or rather it's evened up. Ming sacrifices his own life while Lwandy goes in the backline. Xiaohu is so damn low as the Mundo and tries the maximum dosage. Flashes away, dodges Cryin. Wei goes back in. Scatter the weak. The long fight benefits RNG. You've all dished on Cryin, but now he's the hope of Royal Never Give Up. Looking for more damage. LNG back away, and it's a one fight. It's a dragon for RNG.
Yeah, I mean, they trade those kills, but the fact they manage to keep more members alive, back at that, I think it's just mainly the dragon. The dragon's the focal point of that one. That's the favorable thing for the side of RNG. And I think the critical thing is that when they disengaged, when the Renekton came in, they instantly popped him, instantly took him down, didn't give him a moment to even sort of find any headway. And we can see that once again here. They're trying to take the scuttle. They end up giving it up. A little bit sad for Wei. He clearly wanted that one. But the Realm Warp comes in, and they don't give Arley any time. Gets knocked up, gets stunned by the Braum passive, the Scatter of the Weak, deleted, no impact. And then this is kind of crazy. The healing there from Tarzan with the Gordon Gate, pretty insane. And allows them to buy more time. But again, into the things like the Braum, like the Ezreal, these extended fights aren't really favorable. And it is actually a 2-for-2 overall, excuse me. So it is even in kills. The Dragon in favor of RNG is the critical thing to know.
Yeah, it is. The Dragon sets up for the stack of an Ocean Soul for Mundo. Mundo not only smash, Mundo heal. So if Xiaohu can get that, I mean, looking at a pretty good late game, right, Aux, it changes the map state quite a bit. And it feels like for RNG, team fighting is going to be a big thing.
Yeah, it makes it a lot harder to kill the Mundo when he has the Ocean Soul. A lot more sustain built in, a lot of healing, and he's bulky enough to survive to get that value. But now LNG should just be able to take this Herald. RNG aren't really interested into it. Instead, they're looking to play on the other side of the map. So LNG will take this tower top. There's no real way to stop that. They have the Herald. If they really want it, they can commit that, but they don't need to. And you see on the opposite side, RNG are denying camps, getting some vision, and also zoning the Ziggs away from this wave. So as much as you're seeing that pressure on the top side, RNG will be answering. Light can't really walk up here with a threat to dive. So LNG are like, right, we want more. We got the Herald. Let's try and do something mid. But it looks like RNG in position to defend.
Lwandy's positioning was dangerous for a second, but the Herald's going to be dropped down mid. Wei joins up as well. Look at this over the wing. Ale and Xiaohu bouting it out. And now that the suitcase man is here, Herald going to be taken down with the help of a Q. LNG can't get the firm push, but RNG grouping up to defend. We stay mid for the time being. Xiaohu versus Ale continues, and LNG are going to try and force this push with the satchel charge. That's possible. Ming now caught out as well. The kickback on Cryin. Tarzan does it again. King of the jungle even sacrificed his own life. Ale's back there as well as Wei. He's just trying to do his own thing. Excuse me, only one way, and it's the highway for LNG.
We see RNG crush that one despite that great kick from Tarzan. The thing is, Cryin just isn't relevant. He scatters the weak, he presses R, his job is done. The sustained damage from Wei, from Gala, from Xiaohu, the passive from Braum really relevant, and they're still looking for more. Light has flash.
That is a Ziggs who just wants to live his life. True Shot Barrage dodged away from. Wei wants to burn him, but he says it's not worth it in the end. Minion wave gone from mid 2. RNG have to pull back. And gold is now dead even after what was another chaotic play.
We will see RNG reset now and look to set up the Dragon, but we get that replay first. So the kick comes in, but the critical thing is that how much RNG benefit from this close range fight. You know, the Scatter that week comes down with the ultimate, and then we see Xiaohu in this position in melee range of anything. He has got an AD build. He has the Gore Drinker, so he just starts beating on the Renekton. Gala is free hitting. Ming is applying his passive. Wei is chasing Icon down. Despite the fact you kill the Syndra isn't the pivotal piece, and you can't really win that extended fight easily. Now we've seen RNG go for a bit of a late reset, trying to get back on map on time for this dragon. It does mean that LNG have control of the area, and with things like the Ziggs, it is quite difficult to move in, but instead of going straight for that dragon, they're committing bot.
Yep, versus 3 people here for Xiaohu. Iwandy's rolling in as well. Maximum dosage still available. It's been popped now, and RNG can turn this off. That means they can turn it back around. True shot barrage, and off the wing, Wei is there. I said it's LNG heading to the highway, but the highway is on RNG's wing right now. RNG still moving forward. Ming versus Iwandy, and LNG getting cornered out a bit. Lights joining in. This is tense. I mean, Icon sitting in the brush on a ward right now. LNG gonna get caved in on. There's the Glacial Fisher as well. Xiaohu's not frontlining. Arley's into the backline of Gala and gets a little hit. He survives while RNG can kite forward. Icon frontlining himself. Scatter the Week's a 2-man, unleashing power onto Iwandy. 4 members of LNG getting low. And for a game 4, when everything's on the line, these fights feel so nerve-wracking.
Down to the wire, but RNG have the HP lead, and Xiaohu can TP back in on full HP. You can see the power of this Ziggs Trundle duo, the pillar and all the pokes from the Ziggs, just meaning it's so hard to chase, but it's still RNG who have position on the dragon. So they're still able to get that soul point and pick up the third, and things are starting to get a little bit scary. Ocean Soul is going to be a massive issue. Now, the one thing you can say is that you're always going to build Grievous Wounds against RNG, right? There's already the Oblivion Orb on Light. It was always a plan to do so, so it is going to mitigate some of that Ocean Soul healing, but it still will cause an issue. We can see in this replay, the approach to the fight is slow, and this big amount of burst comes out from the side of LNG that kind of just like explodes on the front line with the overload from the Ryze, with the Mega Inferno Bomb. But in the extended fight, it's still RNG who come out ahead, firing the skill shots. And the only reason LNG starts to pull forward is because you're running into a Ziggs with that poke, you're running into Trundle pillars, puts you in a little bit of a rough spot.
And you already mentioned Ocean Dragon was taken. Ocean Soul as RNG moved to Soul Point in 4 minutes. Baron is now live as well. And even though LNG have the gold lead, I mean, RNG have a win condition. They have a 2-item Ezreal, 2-item Syndra almost there too. The Mundo will become unbearable. And I want to bring it back to what we talked about a little bit before. While LNG had the early game here, the AP damage against Mundo, Aux, walk me through what happens if Ocean Soul goes over, how it is for LNG to play the rest of this game if that came to pass.
I mean, it becomes difficult because the thing with, you know, Ryze is going to eventually shred through the Mundo, but he's not really going to give you that window. Ziggs is kind of like, you throw your combo out and then you're waiting for cooldowns. Like, I think Xiaohu could build like a Spirit Visage here and the healing would just be obscene. And it means you're going to struggle in those front-to-back scenarios, because one of the things with the front-to-back is, firstly, Wei is great in those because you pop your ultimate, the enemy backline can't hit you, you can essentially just free hit, right? Ming is also applying his passive to everyone, and champions like the Xin and the Renekton will just get crushed. So it kind of means that LNG are forced to be a little bit more aggressive, creative, but we've seen that doesn't necessarily work either because it's very hard to punish Gala and Ezreal. So the Ocean Soul makes things more difficult by a pretty substantial margin. I wouldn't want to give it over, and we've seen that Tarzan's been pretty snappy on the smite, so potentially a window for him to steal away, but for now, he is toying with the idea of potentially finding a pick.
No one's walking in, though.
Leaning down towards his bot side of the map.
I mean, I think smart from RNG. They're not going to walk into anywhere they don't have vision at this point, especially with the Xin. And I wanted to also point out that before I said, you know, Cryin is the way RNG win. Now, you know, I could be right about that, but I want to come back and say this series has been all about junglers. Wei versus Tarzan has delivered as a matchup. And while supports come into that, while supports roaming towards mid, linking up with their jungles, has been important. Wei versus Tarzan has defined all these games. And in this game, Wei has been very proactive towards the mid game and has been setting RNG up for success around the dragons as well. So I think important people to watch here as we progress towards the next dragon in 2 minutes, as Baron's there as well, as both teams sitting neck and neck pretty much with gold.
And this fight may well be a pivotal one, right? It likely will be. The Dragon, LNG need to deny it, RNG want to secure it, and with the Baron up and available, whoever wins the fight may well just instantly transition into that. You can see LNG cleared some of that vision around Baron, RNG are forced to replace it because, you know, there's always that risk of the Realm Warp into the pit to rush the Baron down, right? You have to really be cautious of that when you're going for the Dragon, committing to the bot side of the map. The RNG want vision, they want to be aware if that goes on. But the resets start to come in. We're a minute 20 from the Dragon. At this point, you have a bit of time to get mid, you have a bit of time to push the wave in, and then you have some time to sort of rotate into the river and play for that. And that will be the game plan for these teams. Obviously, a lot of pressure from the Ziggs, just able to throw satchels and force priority there. And Gala is actually going to have a late recall, so he might have to TP back in if they want to have the presence to force in. Because right now, LNG have control of the river, and if Ezreal isn't here, you wouldn't be able to push in. So they will build that TP, and now it's up to RNG to try and force in. And remember, against a Trundle pillar, against Ziggs poke, very hard to force your way in.
Well, they've actually set up with Ale poking him back down. They're looking for Lwandy there, who was in the choke. Again, this fight means everything for both these teams. LNG will secure top 4 if they can win this game, and RNG will have a chance at a game 5 where the stakes are even. Good scatter of the week once again, but it's at max range, and Ming walking up to deny some vision here. RNG, they're the ones getting poked down by the Ziggs. Tarzan looking for an angle. Dragon's up in 15 as True Shot Barrage flies through. It looks like RNG can't get anywhere near the river right now.
It's so difficult, and they want to try and go for mid priority, but the last wave's already gone. It was quickly cleared out for the Ziggs. Now Xiaohu's going
Cryin,
forward.
Sonic Wave onto Cryin, there's the flash as well into the backline. Tarzan's there with the kick. It's a 3-man 2. LNG there, the rookies, and they've just been set up for success from a world's jungler, Smurfing, but he's trying to get out for now. He's caught over the wall. Ale will follow through. It's a messy fight, but LNG winning it. They need to kill Gala. As Xiaohu goes forward with the Gore Drinker, Gala's left alone. Realm Warp taken. Satchel Charge slows him down. Li Ning are defeating RNG.
Huge kick comes out from Tarzan, and the terrain of the fight is so difficult. They don't have space really to navigate. Gala consistently in the back foot. Icon doesn't end up going, but actually he's going to find Gala.
He's looking for Gala. Flashes the True Shot Barrage over the wall. The Everfrost doesn't connect. As close as they come, they deny the soul. Almost getting the AD carry as well. LNG moved to a 3k gold lead. This game isn't over, but that's how fights can go, and LNG can smell the victory.
Yeah, and Cryin is just too far forwards here for no reason. Has to be in the flash initially. Tarzan comes in, gets that great kick that also causes CC on Ming and Wei. Buys time with the Warthog with the stopwatch, and that allows the rest of the team to start to follow up. It looks precarious over this wall initially, but then Ale jumps in, starts to clean up, and Gala is just consistently forced to kite back. He isn't really able to find presence, and it's just such a messy fight from the start. I think as well, one big takeaway for me is Xiaohu bought a Thorn Mail before that fight. I have no idea why. When I look at the side of LNG, I'm not thinking, oh no, what about all that AD damage? I'm thinking, man, that Ziggs is probably doing 1 million damage to me right now. And he just doesn't build MR. Like, it's not the only reason they lost that fight by any means, but it definitely made him a lot squishier than he should have been otherwise. And I have to kind of question it.
We're waiting for Xiaohu to get to that point where he's unbeatable, right? You know, you get to the late game, and with an Ocean Dragon already picked up with an Ocean Soul on the line, it would enhance him a lot. So I do like that you bring it up. I think it's important when you've already talked about the AP threats in the late game that are getting towards their 3 item source. Icon is getting close to the Blinding Jewel, Horizon Focus plus a Blasting Wand, and seeing the Morello third is a very big possibility for Light, who once again on this Ziggs is doing so much damage against RNG. And Aux, you know, we've got some time to wait for the next dragon. We've got a Baron sitting there and waiting as well. One more mistake and the Purple Worm defines the game for either of these teams. Those items need to be taken into account if RNG get caught out again.
And RNG are still in that position where, you know, they are 1 dragon away. It is a setback, obviously not to get it there, but they can just gotta wait for more time. But it's getting concerning, because as you said, that Ziggs is doing an insane amount of damage. Icon is closing on the Void Staff, and there's no MR to be spoken of on RNG. The only person who has MR is Gala. I mean, I guess Ming has some from his Make Treads and his Locket, but like, there's no massive amount of MR on either Wei or Xiaohu, so Icon will be doing insane damage. And this is kind of what they were hoping for last game is to get to that point where these carries are relevant, and it never really came to fruition. But this game, they have hit that point, and it means that RNG need to approach things a lot more carefully or risk just getting absolutely decimated. And now, with 2.5 minutes before that dragon, you see Ming trying to get some vision around the Baron area, but we'll see a reset between now and the dragon, and that's likely when we'll see RNG start to fan out and establish vision, and LNG look to do the same.
But I think it's important to note, look at that deep ward towards blue buff as well. It hasn't been cleared away. Something that can be a flanking angle for Ale, who has TP. Icon there as well. If RNG flock into the river, there's something for LNG to do. And that ward doesn't expire for a while. So if we are looking at Baron for the next couple of minutes before the next dragon, something to keep in mind here as Lwandy's going to get ulted. Ming sets this up onto the support. He flashes away. And Ming has just been on point there. That's the support summoner down. And that's an ulti that will be back up in about 60 seconds.
Yeah, it's nice to burn that summoner by all means, but the only problem is you don't really win a fight off the back of Trundle not having flash. It's not super valuable.
Good point.
It's still definitely a good play for Ming, but I'm not sure how much it's necessarily going to do. The one thing it does stop is it makes Lwandy have to be a lot more safe when he's going for vision. And RNG are trying again and again to clear out this vision just to keep the Baron open as a threat, because RNG are a team who will just start up Barons and try and rush it down, and they have tanking a front line to be able to kind of just sustain through the damage while also burning it pretty quickly. Trying to zone Ale off, but again, they keep clearing this vision around Baron, and they are sacrificing Dragon Vision for this, but as long as they keep the threat of this Baron alive, it keeps LNG on their toes. But my concern is LNG have a Ryze with Realm Warp. Even if LNG pick up the dragon, they can very easily Realm Warp over to stop you on the Baron. And that's assuming they need all 5 members to do the dragon, which they absolutely don't. So RNG need to be careful about how they prioritize their vision on the map right now.
It's important here. 30 seconds till Dragon. Aux, who are you looking out for? What do you want to see? Key members for damage sources, please. From both sides, if we do see a fight.
Absolutely Gala, and then on the side of LNG, I'm looking at Light and Icon in particular, but especially Light has been doing so much here. And it really comes down to how well the teams could shut down these members. Tarzan has been finding Cryin again and again and again. He does have his flash up now.
Good damage onto Light in the back line.
Could be in a bit of a rough spot.
This is a wing here from RNG. Left to right is the fight. Good scatter of the week on top of Tarzan. Wind becomes lightning, doesn't connect. And Xiaohu already at half HP. The Realm Warp being used. That's 2 members taking it. Ale and Icon, but Wave backs away. Once again, Icon's ulti is down. The Glacial Fissure up again for Ming. Dragon is live. Bit of health bars dropping here, but no one too unhealthy to continue the play.
And Xiaohu just keeps getting chunked. I mean, look at this AP damage. Look how low he is. He's going to have to recall and TP back in. And they can't contest the wave. They can't walk up. Icon's overloads are doing like 900 damage at this point. So they get zoned completely away from the dragon. And RNG... TP's coming in from Ale, he's just healed up. They're not even going to get close to this dragon. And again, you know, they don't need this dragon because LNG are still going to be 2 away from Soul. But the fact that they've missed out on it back-to-back definitely hurts.
I mean, this is again why you brought up the itemization of Xiaohu and what it means here. As he gets chunked out, we've watched the damage from Light, from Icon. They're the serious threats to him right now, and it looks like we're going to have the 3rd item coming soon, but no Spirit Visage, no Spectre's Cowl. So we hold on that one for now and just wait till Xiaohu gets tanky enough. Level 16 Mundo as well, by the way, so we'll be able to heal up a lot more, but still, big issues.
That's the problem as well, right? Because Mundo heals so much, like, you know, you have your base amount of HP, but then you get so much extra HP effectively from healing that because your MR is so low, like, they're doing thousands extra damage to you, right? Over the course of your full health bar plus all your healing, because this is Void Staff and Icon, Void Staff and Light, and he has very little MR. He has Annul Magics and he has the Aegis. That is literally all Xiaohu has, and it just puts him. It makes him so squishy. I know, and like I know I keep going on about this. He has got a bit more MR now that he's finished the stone plate, but I just feel like the itemization choice really costly in this situation, especially when you see Gala going for the Hex Drinker way prior to the MR. It just seems very weird to me, the decision making behind it. But regardless, we see LNG still in that position of control. Light is fully online here and can kind of just clear waves from massive distance while also posing threat with that poke. It's a 3,000 gold lead. At this point, it's not super relevant. It's just more about position on the map and LNG are in favor off that.
Because we are getting to that point where next fight wins. Next fight probably wins the game / series if LNG can get away with it. At this point in the game, RNG being down gold, you're right, doesn't mean much. We can see the item difference coming through as well. 3.5 in the top lane with the GA on Tarzan as well to go dive deep. 3 items in the mid lane with the Void Staff too. Xiaohu's just popped the maximum dosage from Icon. He's chasing him down with a Realm Warp there, but Icon's just going to get out in case RNG were able to collapse. And I guess we wait that other time at 3 minutes here till the Ocean Soul opportunity once again. It will be Soul Point for LNG. And Aux in this game, I cannot put the stakes down enough. LNG winning this would be a huge upset. All it takes is one fight. All it takes is one moment in this game to silence RNG and RNG fans. The team that won MSI, beaten down by Li Ning.
And my problem here is how are RNG going to get on light? Ever. Period. They don't have the engage. Even if they did, they're dealing with the Trundle pillar, which is great disengage. They have things like the Ryze, who can run interruption. They have the Lee Sin and the Renekton. Light can just play at max range. So, you know, a flank in theory could work, but I don't think Xiaohu's strong enough just to be able to walk in on a flank and not get deleted. I really struggle to see RNG making any headway because, once again, LNG have position on the objective, right? They have control of the vision around this Baron. If RNG want to contest, they have to move in, and it's been that way for every Dragon, you know, in the last 2. I just think things are really difficult for RNG to approach at this point.
They really are. I mean, we're seeing again, this vision control is always there for LNG. A Baron without a couple of wards, bar the ones you see on your screen. Now just going to be cleansed out by Ale, who really feels like more of a tank than Xiaohu at this point. You know, the Renekton has himself the GA, he's got himself a belt, and will be going towards the Thornmail himself, but with more meaning to deal with people like Gala, Wei. Even the auto attacks, if you want to call it, from Xiaohu, but okay, never mind, that doesn't matter anyway. Aux, I'm going to bring us back in. 1:20, one more time. Light and Gala are getting their 4th items. We haven't actually got the Maw of Malmortius for Gala. We've got the needlessly large rod for Light. Hasn't turned into anything yet, but we still have big AD carries, big bottom laners that are going to be dishing out damage.
Yeah, and I think I don't see RNG winning if Light goes unanswered. Unless LNG's frontline overstep massively, I think it's very easy for Light to keep firing bombs off. You have Tarzan and Ale both with GAs. Things become very tricky to navigate. So RNG, we praised their team fighting in a pre-segment. Feels like a lifetime ago now, but
oh yeah,
we have to see if they can bring it out here. This is the critical moment. 40 seconds on Dragon. Baron is up and available, and RNG have to be careful. If they overcommit to one side, Realm
look at Icon.
can very
Look at Icon in the bottom lane. The Everfrost is there onto Xiaohu. Maximum dosage going to be used now. He'll heal up. The Mundo getting to that point with the Spectre's Cow. Finally, Realm Warp to be taken, but Mundo looked to smash. Icon gets away with Flash still available, but if he loses that, Ocean Soul becomes a big problem.
That was so close there. He does have the TP, so he'll be able to rejoin. It was down to the wire. And again, RNG are committing resources to the Baron. More concerned about that than the Dragon side of the map.
Gala's alone. Gala's alone in the middle. He's kicked away by Tarzan on the flank. Sonic Wave, but they can't kill him. They can't kill Gala. And when TP's in the middle, Xiaohu is keeping everybody busy. Tarzan and Ale into the back line again. Gala surviving for now. The Renekton in the middle of the fight. The Mega Inferno Bomb doesn't finish the job. The True Shot Barrage pushes him into GA. LNG in a choke though. And Ming is there as the Braum. Scout of the Week doesn't connect. And no one dies. Somehow, everyone's alive.
It's insane, but I mean, as much as Gala is able to kite back and do a ton of damage there, they just can't fight in chokes. It just feels like, you know, the Trundle pillar is so suffocating. The poke is there from the Ziggs, and once again, LNG will take Dragon. 3 in a row now. RNG were on the cusp of getting that soul, and it just feels like they're not able to take it. I mean, they've literally been reverse sweeped when it comes to Dragons. They are going to run over to the Baron and clear out the vision, but I'm not sure if they can start it up. They're going to go for it. TP's available for Light, though.
Yeah, he's resetting here. Mega Inferno Bomb's available too. Light is going to TP in straight away. He joins the fight, but Baron, is it already gone? Yes, smited away, but look at the collapse from Ale. They have to pick a position. RNG are already low. Ale's there to try and win the series, but the Scout of the Week stops them. RNG winning the fight as Tarzan goes in for the kick. He gets the execution on the way, but now Tarzan in such a bad position. Gala missing Mystic shots. Doesn't matter as the Arcane shifts forward. Golden is Icon. Right there with the satchel charge. The Realm Warp. RNG now losing the fight, but Gala again on the Ezreal. Goes forward. This AD carry, an absolute masterclass.
What an absolute monster. I thought he was gone. I thought he was dead. They were chasing him down. It was down to the wire, and he's able to bring it back. RNG, honestly, on the cusp of defeat. I felt like maybe if they lose that fight with how badly it was going initially, we could have seen LNG just rush down mid and end, but Gala manages to clutch it for the team with some crisp, perfect team fighting coming out.
Keeps RNG's dreams alive as this Baron play looks so dicey.
Yeah, I mean, they get hit by the Mega Inferno Bomb across the board. The engage comes in for the Renekton, but they're able to find space and kite back. And in this situation, they have a more open area. They're able to move backwards. Gala is able to find space, and critically, he has that Mortal Mortis. He has the MR. And so when it comes down to these AP champions finishing him off, he actually survives much longer than you think. You see, the satchel comes out, you think he's going to go down, but he's doing so much damage to Light here. And then Icon, thanks to the shield from the Maw, he's just able to tank it. And then able to turn things around with that Braum passive. Finally gets the cleanup. Just some excellent play from Gala. And on top of having the Maw, he's also gone for the Bloodthirster. So super bulky now on this Ezreal. And this is where things get concerning.
I mean, Light and Gala, 8k damage in the last fight. You were right to point out the ADs, the bottom laners from both teams. The damage source massive, and Gala has done enough alongside Ming to keep the game going. To now for RNG, keep the thoughts of a potential game fight. That fight was everything. Keeps Baron strong on RNG on 2 members. Let's see what they can do with it.
Yep, and, you know, they're looking to try and get this mid tower finally, which has been up for 40 minutes. They are in a position. The wave for the Ziggs a lot less relevant now, so they should just be able to take this one. And this is such a big difference because we've constantly seen the Ziggs setting up shop mid lane, RNG unable to contest rivers because of that mid lane tower. Now with it down, RNG have a lot more pressure. They'll have to be cautious about an engage though.
But the Sonic Wave there from Tarzan. Waze going in deep. But the turret is now gone. LNG back on the defense towards their inner side turret. And RNG 2 minutes ago for this Dragon. Now, gold back in their favor, but we're at the point where a lot of these carries are getting towards full build, are getting towards their last item, or a control ward slot. And RNG just trying to maximize the end of this Baron. It has expired as of 3 seconds ago. RNG looking for that inner turret. LNG still here and have a lot of wave clear.
Yeah, I don't think you're really going to be able to take this one. A lot of damage comes out, but the locket will keep them relatively healthy. I think RNG just needs to disengage here.
Oof. True
then
shot
again,
just a
that
lot
all actually changes things a bit, but the wave isn't there. They should reset now and play towards that Dragon. Soul for either side, essentially. And I think the Soul is more favorable for RNG. Helps sustain a lot of the poke from Light, but also Mundo has that Spirit Visage now, has finally decided, you know, maybe MR is a good idea in this game, and that healing will be pretty insane once he does get that Ocean Soul.
Well, if right, because in a minute to go, LNG are all alive. Right now, RNG have positioning through mid, but we know there's going to be a fight for this for a game 5 from LNG, or rather RNG, I should say. They have to win this fight to have a chance at the top 4. Orcs, 30 seconds. They're looking for Tarzan. Gala Arcane shifts over the wall. Ming goes in. Actually gets pillared midway as well. Lwandy trying his best, but they're forcing Tarzan back at half HP. Those 30 seconds count.
Yeah, and we've hit the point where we're getting super late in the game. Ale and Tarzan just aren't as relevant. They can't really jump on a Gala and deal with him. And because the main damage threats on LNG are AP, the itemization from RNG becomes easy. Mortal Mortis, Bloodthirster from this Ezreal. He is super tanky. He can basically just out-heal your poke. You land a bomb from Ziggs, he Qs, he's back on that HP, but Ale found a potential flank here.
They don't know he's here on top of Gala, now spotted out, but he's going to be focused. Icon comes on in, he flashes away immediately. LNG, what are you doing? You haven't killed Gala, who true shot barrages through the team. Tarzan tries to get him on the back line, but LNG still have an Ezreal they have to deal with. Cryin frontlining, but look at the damage. Gala is playing the Uzi role so damn well. Ming chasing after Ale, and LNG are low. Gala is a beast. Uzi better be watching this, because RNG have secured the Ocean Soul.
They get the soul, and it's all on Gala. This man's on a 1v9 mission. It looks like he's immortal. Everyone else's health is just dropping down, and he's still got that massive blood dish to shield. Keep him alive. The Ezreal's hit the super late game now, and nothing can match him. You're going to see Tarzan try and get away, but he might get caught out here.
Well, Gala's trying to poke him down. Now spotted out. Lwandy's there as well. The pillar against the wall. Gala alive, but is there enough damage here? He has Bloodthirster. He flashes away. The Ezreal is like a bruiser. Sonic Wave into the backline. LNG bring Icon in, but Cryin gets the scat of the week outside of the Zhonyas. Cryin still alive. Pillar against the wall. This is so awkward. As backs come through, the satchel charge there. Tarzan wants an angle, but LNG still ambitiously going in. There's Ale against the wall, the scout of the week, but I think Ale might sacrifice his life with Gala in the backline with Wade jumping up. Somehow they don't get punished, and it's just Cryin who dies with Baron now live.
Yeah, with mid laner down, this is LNG's best opportunity to go for that Baron. RNG. It's going to be difficult to fight this one. They may even actually opt to back away. You see Ezreal coming back on the map. Baron's, it's not going to lose the game on the back of this Baron at this point. So I think if you're not able to approach, you might actually end up just letting it go, as crazy as that sounds. And I think that's the call here. You're a man down. Why risk it? At this point, where if you lose this game, you get knocked out of playoffs, you just let the Baron go. Happy you still have that soul for the rest of the game.
Shot barrage not going to be used to try and steal it away. You're right. The soul for the rest of the game. That lasts forever. Baron is fleeting, but Realm Warp in. Gala's in the mid lane. Might be caught out here. Great pillar. Arcane chips away. He doesn't have flood, and he's down. Ocean Soul be damned. LNG making the players. Xiaohu TP's in the middle of LNG. He's going to die as well with Baron. That's huge for the team to make the miracle run.
This might be it. This might actually be it. They're going to push with 5 members strong. They have to clear the wave out. If the wave survives, this will just be game.
Mega Inferno Bomb used to burst down Cryin, who's at half HP. Sonic Wave into the resonating strike. Crescent guarded away. The last defense. RNG have the Ocean Soul. How are they losing here? I don't know. Walking away with the Baroned up minions. This is against all odds. LNG pushing them backwards. RNG to the fountain. Against all odds. LNG have taken down the kings of the LPL to make their way to the top 4 against all damn odds.
They take down the MSI champions, the spring champions, in such a great manner. And RNG looked like they had it at the end of that game. It looked like they were going to take it, and then Gala is caught out by that critical Realm Warp. This is a different LNG than we saw in the regular season. This is an LNG who are playing as such a good team. So many star players, and they managed to clutch it against RNG. And the thing is, yes, there were close games, but it was 3-1. They had this one in the bag.
The miracle run is continuing on. A 3-1 victory from LNG. I mean, let alone RNG not picking up 2 games at the very least. We look at this series back with fond memories of how LNG were able to deny the golden road, deny the golden run for Royal Never Give Up, and make history of their own. Top 4 secured, and Ning have run all the way from round 1 to now set a date with Fun Plus Phoenix.
It's mad, and the hype has been building, right? First series against Tuning, it's cool, but it wasn't that amazing. But then beating top esports, now RNG. And you can definitely say that RNG, there were some games that looked rough, but there were some games where they looked on point. And this one, they found that momentum. Gala was on a 1v9 mission, but that clutch play, the Realm Warp on the Ezreal, who was flashless, able to catch him out, able to take him down and just close the game off that. I honestly think if they didn't find that window to pick up Gala, they might have just ended up losing that game because he was so strong. But the 5-man Realm Warp pays off. They close the series out 3-1, and it's devastating for RNG and the fans. They still will have a chance in the regional qualifier, but LNG, they're going on to bigger things as of this series.
Yes, they are. I mean, Icon, it's funny that game 1 was so powerful. The last couple of games, not great, but it's his Realm Warp. It's his shot calling. It's his decision-making alongside Tarzan there that gets Gala down. And, like, Gala giveth, Gala taketh away. Being caught out there with the Realm Warp, you know, that's just so devastating. And for RNG, they will not get a lifeline here apart from the regional qualifier. But now, RNG can pretty much only secure 3rd or 4th seed. There's a very unlikely event where, no, even now, I mean, FPX have enough points. FPX are in the top 4. RNG are not. They will not be able to secure yet another championship. They will not be able to secure that 1st seed. And when RNG have come back and they've come back off of winning MSI, for a lot of fans, that's going to be devastating.
Yeah, and I think everyone bought in after that massive win streak they got in the late part of the season. The 1-5 start was forgotten. Everyone just was like, it's irrelevant because they are on this massive win streak. Lost to BLG, who cares, right? They're in playoffs, they're looking great. But this is a heavy blow. And LNG, the ones to deliver it, I mean, the hype is just insane. Just the fact that they were kind of the opposite of RNG, right? 7-0 start of the season, fell off a cliff, able to bounce back just when they needed for playoffs. And honestly, just a pleasure to watch. I think that the thing is, there's been some really enjoyable, scrappy team fighting coming out, but it feels like the team are playing together. And sure, there's been rough moments, but there's also been really strong moments across the board. I think Tarzan has just been amazing, absolutely stellar, particularly on the Lee Sin, just finding these clutch kicks. And considering he's up against Wei, who I think is a player who's always been deserving of so much praise, it's really credit to how on form Tarzan is right now. Yeah,
I mean, the jungle difference in this series now wasn't always there, but I think Tarzan showed that he was just such a stellar jungler. To recycle your words there, the biggest thing for me was coming into today, we knew how important jungle would be, but I think even more so, we were shown within the series of how it can make or break a lot of these fights, how it can make or break a lot of the early games as well. Wei versus Tarzan was the jungle matchup that we wanted, and it certainly delivered.
Absolutely. And yeah, I'm excited to see Tarzan go further. I'm excited to see LNG go further. How far can the miracle go? At what point is it just like, what point is it just like miracle on miracle? Is it just, this is LNG now, right? That is the question. And I think this was the big test. I think a lot of people were saying, this is the one. This is the one where they go no further. RNG is the one who will stop them. And they didn't. They weren't enough.
We'll bring up MVP on your screen there as well. I believe it was Tarzan that was talked in my ear for a moment. Tarzan now going to be moving to 4 MVPs, 14 over the regular season with 4 in playoffs. This just goes to show you why LNG is so successful. This guy reinvents himself from Griffin to now LNG, and he's just been full of success.
Absolutely. And I think it's amazing for him, but it's also amazing for the organization, you know, being able to potentially just set new records. And I feel like you said it earlier, this transformation over the course of this year for this LNG lineup has been absolutely massive, and he has been this pivotal piece.
Well, with this now, I mean, a lot of expectations on Tarzan to keep the ball running. Like, how far they can go is the new question of LNG. We can talk about that in a second. This, of course, was the fight for Gala. Funnily enough, that we've got this in the highlight reel because Tarzan dies early. But this was just how close the last game was, where RNG felt like they're about to take us to a game number 5. But getting caught out through the mid lane, even after Ocean Soul here, we're just looking at the highlights of RNG. I mean, Aux, this was a game to behold. This is so great to look back on.
And I want to give praise to Gala, because it's so easy to look at that last play of the series and be like, Gala lost it, Gala got caught, Gala died, Gala cost it. But real talk, the only reason they were in that game was because of Gala. He was just an absolute monster, and mistakes happen, and I can understand it's going to be a devastating feeling when you lose the series and you feel like it's on you, but I think he has had an amazing season, and I think he's proven that, like, he can absolutely carry. It's just there was a bit too much weight in that final game. They were already in a comfortable position, being 2-1 down, and he made a mistake. But I hope to see him sort of bounce back in the regional qualifier, because I think he has been honestly excellent in the AD carry role.
And you know, the thing I feel like in that series is, like, I feel like Ming was one of the best players. Ming in that series was exceptional. Ming on the Braum there, on the Rel that we've seen. You got to give a huge shout out to him. So it feels like Ming was definitely a part of that success if we are talking about Gala. But ladies and gentlemen, with LNG's victory, Wendy is standing by with Icon to have a chat about this miracle run we're seeing on our screens.